Look at these glistening glazed chicken pieces and fresh garnishes. It sets a high standard for great takeout, but you can hit that exact same mark at home in just 15 minutes using a single pan. The ultimate goal is to achieve this beautifully thick amber glaze, dripping and clinging tightly to every golden, crispy edge. This layout shows everything we need to pull it off. You start with the chicken, a light coating of flour, butter and oil for the pan, and the core flavor agents: garlic, honey, soy sauce, and a splash of vinegar. You don't need years of culinary training to make this work. Nailing this dish comes down to executing the steps in the right sequence and managing the heat of your pan. Start by prepping your chicken. You can cut it into bite-sized cubes for maximum surface area, or keep the breasts whole and score the surface in a shallow diamond pattern. Season the meat evenly on all sides with salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Then, lightly dredge the pieces in either flour or cornstarch. Make sure to tap off the excess flour before the chicken gets anywhere near the stove. Leaving thick clumps of raw flour on the meat creates a gummy, unappetizing texture. This shows what that light dusting of flour does. As it cooks, it forms a barrier, trapping natural moisture inside so meat stays tender. On the outside, that layer develops a porous crust, giving the sticky sauce a place to physically grip and bind. By taking the time to properly dredge the meat, you ensure your sauce stays wrapped around every bite, rather than sliding off and pooling sadly at the bottom of your plate. Place a large, heavy-bottomed skillet over medium-high heat. Use a combination of cooking oil and butter to get the best of both worlds: high heat capacity and rich flavor. When you drop cold butter into hot oil, it instantly melts and begins to foam. Lay your chicken into the pan, making sure to leave space between each piece. If you pack the pan too tightly, the temperature drops rapidly, and the meat will steam in its own juices rather than getting a proper sear. Let the chicken cook completely undisturbed for about 5 minutes. Once you see a deep, golden brown crust forming along the bottom edges, it's ready to flip. Flip each piece and let the second side cook for another 4 minutes. We want the meat to be nearly cooked all the way through before moving on to the final glaze phase. Executing this initial high-heat sear correctly builds the dish's essential textural contrast: a firm, crispy exterior yielding to a perfectly juicy interior. With the chicken browned, drop the heat down to medium-low. Push the meat to the edges of the skillet to clear a spot in the center, and drop in your minced garlic along with one final dab of butter. Watch the garlic closely. You only need to stir it for about 30 seconds until it becomes fragrant. Let it go any longer and it burns, turning bitter and ruining the base of your sauce. Now pour in the liquid ingredients: honey for sweetness, soy sauce for savory depth, and apple cider vinegar for acidity. The moment those liquids hit the hot skillet, they bubble up quickly. Use your spatula to stir the sauce while scraping the bottom of the pan to lift up all those highly concentrated browned bits of flavor. At first, the mixture will look thin and watery. Leave it alone and let it simmer for 2 to 3 minutes so that the excess moisture can successfully evaporate. As it bubbles, the residual flour left on the outside of the chicken activates in the hot liquid, rapidly increasing the viscosity of the entire mixture. By giving the pan these few minutes to work, that thin liquid physically transforms into the rich, velvety syrup that defines the dish. You'll know the cooking process is complete when the sauce coats the back of a spoon and every piece of chicken in the pan is glistening. Serve a generous portion straight from the skillet over a bowl of hot steamed rice, and make sure to spoon plenty of the remaining sticky pan sauce directly over the top. Finish it off with a handful of bright green chives and a sprinkle of toasted sesame seeds for a final pop of color and crunch. By mastering this simple 15-minute one-pan technique, night dinners and replace standard